Okay, we are live. Give us a wave, give us a hello. My special guest is here, Trina. Oh, we have some people. People are joining. So while we're just going to wait about we've got some hearts coming in for us so people can give us hearts. So you'll see them on the side. Somebody give us some love. Give us a heart, someone. There, see? Look, they're giving us hearts. That means they like you.
And you too.
So this is my first time having a guest. And if you have been watching my Instagram stories, Trina Markuson, the author of Good Morning Sunshine, the book, yes, hold that up, is here with us tonight. So it is so exciting. She is a teacher and a mindfulness coach. So not only is she incorporating mindfulness and working on that in the class or in schools, she is a teacher. So she knows what it's like to be. She's in the front lines. So she is going to help us to incorporate some things that we can actually use, because sometimes we will have presentations from people that aren't teachers, and it's not so easy to incorporate what they're talking about. So, Trina, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, about how you got started with mindfulness and where you got the idea for your book and all those things? Take it away. That's a lot of questions. I'm sorry.
But that's okay. I can talk and talk and talk. That's
teacher
never a problem.
That's right. That's
right. I got started in mindfulness about 16 years ago. And it came as a response for my own stress reduction in my life. I was that busy kid. I was that really busy kid who threw up. Maybe
that too.
Yeah, because I was the kid throwing up in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Before the races.
Oh, goodness.
At my track meets. I was the one who wanted to throw up in the bathroom before I had to write a test. So I grew up as a really anxious, nervous child. And I was a bit of a perfectionist too.
Yes, okay? That was, yeah.
There was a lot of pressure from myself.
What if this happens?
Right.
What if I don't do it perfectly?
Right. And I had an identical twin sister that was growing up next to me. And so there was always that little element of comparison going on where people would look at us and go like this back and forth, right? So I grew up with that my whole life. And so as I grew up and I became that busy teacher trying to prove myself, before the permanent contract.
Oh, yes. Before the permanent
contract, right?
You all know what we're talking about. You know.
You got to prove yourself. You got to coach everything you can possibly coach.
Yes. You need to do every supervision.
Your classroom has to be perfect.
Yes.
Right.
Your day plan has to be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Your parent emails, your unit plans, it all has to be perfect.
Right.
It doesn't. But it kind of does.
But we thought it did.
You thought it did.
So, as the busyness of that, I had my first panic and anxiety attack 16 years ago. And that led to a year of depression and, going to the doctor, and the doctor said, here's a prescription for antidepressants, and you're probably going to have to be on them forever.
That's a scary thing to hear.
It was.
Yeah.
And then what I found is that I fought that a little bit because I thought, well, I don't have a mental illness and I don't want, to be taking an antidepressant. What happens is about a month after that, I finally took it. And it worked like a charm. But I found that if I forgot to take that little pill in the morning, I felt as if, I felt right back into all of the anxiety and the depression. Yeah. And what I felt was that pill was like a little band-aid that went over a wound, but the wound was never healing underneath. So then I began looking for ways to deal with my own stress reduction, and when the student is ready, the teacher comes. Yes. And there came the word mindfulness. I first learned from a program called Attacking Anxiety, where we learned a little bit about one of the weeks. You had to listen to a concept a week, and one of the weeks were the precious present moment. And if we just focus on our thoughts on the precious present moment instead of focusing on the past or the future, our bodies would feel differently. See, all of our stress comes from our thoughts.
What if?
And that was key.
What if this doesn't happen? What if I don't do this in time? Yeah. Right. Or I should have done that. That's what I do. I should have did that.
I should have. Those
done
past
that.
thoughts, those regrets. Right?
That's me.
Yeah.
Past thoughts.
Yeah.
Oh, did I really say that?
Yeah. So when I learned about that, well, that's what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is about focusing on the present moment and keeping your thoughts and what am I doing in the present moment. 98% of the time, nothing is ever wrong in the present moment.
True.
Like right now.
Perfect.
Isn't this moment perfect? No matter
really
what
stories
are happening in our past and what's happening at my house right now, I'm not there. This is my present moment and it's perfect. So
that's a good way to
think of it. That's exactly where mindfulness came in. And within a year, I was able to wean myself off all medication.
A year? That's it? Oh, wow. And so you were taking it every day?
Yes.
And then you weaned yourself off.
And I'm not saying that's going to work for everybody, but because I was so committed to the practice, I wanted to make those changes in my life, and I wanted to really use these tools, and it worked. And so that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I want to share it. I don't want anybody to have to go through what I went through all those years. But it was a beautiful, beautiful problem, because it made me learn everything I learned.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
And you got to write this story, which we're going to talk about. Love the chat. Hey ladies, are we missing out on anything? So yeah, guys, feel like you can chime in at any time. We have lots of listeners, which is awesome. So if you have any questions for Trina about mindfulness, and she's going to talk about how she integrates it and uses it in her classroom, and she's going to talk about her story and all that. But if at any time, hi Linda. Linda was at our school, so she probably knows who you are when you were there. So if do you know this is coming at like the perfect day? Do you know that I think it's World Mental Health Day?
It is. I heard that on the radio.
I know. I saw it this morning. I'm like, I totally planned that.
Right. This is not a coincidence.
This is not a coincidence.
There are no coincidences.
Oprah wasn't that Oprah shirt? Inside joke. Anyways, so yeah, it is World Mental Health Day, which is so awesome. I'm listening in from a parent perspective. Awesome. We are so happy. We were hoping that some parents tune in, because she is going to have some tips for you. And she, I'll let you speak to why you wrote this story, because it has to do with not really teaching so much, doesn't it?
Right. So I wrote this story. I actually had started writing a book for parents, and because whenever I would speak at a convention or a conference, somebody would always come up to me at the end of it and say, like more than one person would always come up and say, how can I teach my kids these tools? How can I show my kids how to do all this stuff so that they would be healthy in their mind too? And so I started writing a book for parents and teachers, like a thick book, right? Like 22 chapters on how I already haven't started. It's the third done. But so then my youngest son, who struggled with anxiety and all these worrisome thoughts, he actually came to me one day. He saw me working on it, and he came to me and he said, Mom, why aren't you telling the kids about this? Like, they need to know.
The kids are the smartest. They always have the best ideas.
They
always have the best ideas. I'm like, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, exactly. And my husband said, Trina, I'm not going to read that thick book that you're writing, but I will read a thin one, like a children's book, right? So all of these things were kind of put into my head for ideas. And then I started writing this book. So my son, who used the mindfulness tools, because as I was learning them, when they were growing up, they like all three of my sons were just learning all of these tools. And so it just became part of their life. I was modeling them when I would learn something. When I would get an idea, I would try it on them first. And so it just became who they were. When he said, tell the kids about this, I sat down with my youngest son, Zachary, and I said, let's think of what 6 tools work the best for you. And I said to him, will you be my main character?
Oh, and he was probably just like, bursting.
Like this is almost his story. Like, this is based on a true story, his story. And so it was a very vulnerable place to be. A vulnerable place to go. And he was like, yes.
And so how old was he when you wrote this?
9.
9. Mm-hmm. Wow, that is a vulnerable age.
Yeah. Like, he wasn't a 5-year-old.
No.
Right?
I always thought he was, actually.
He has a really kind heart, and he said, I just want to help kids. So that's what we did.
Good mama.
So, yeah.
Good mama.
So that's where it came from. And so we did this, got the tools together, and then I just kind of put it away a little bit. And then one day when I was working on that book, I got just a sudden inspiration. And, I remember
Aw.
J.K. Rowling talking about this once, where she said the book actually, she wasn't even really writing the book. That's exactly what happened to me.
Oh, nice.
I felt like it was just coming out. And so this is exactly what.
Yeah. You were probably subconsciously working on it.
Yeah.
The whole time it was away.
Yeah.
Like, it was probably bubbling and just, you were probably thinking about it, and then
Right.
it was
the right time.
I didn't realize that he was that. Okay, that's awesome.
So he's the main character. That's the book.
So let's check in with everybody. Okay, what are we saying here? Okay, I'm listening. My students and I did yoga every morning for 15 minutes, and it seemed to work for a while, but after about 2 months, they got bored of it. What other types of mindfulness activities would you suggest right in the morning to start the day?
Okay. So, you can do yoga. Yoga is one little piece of mindfulness, where mindfulness is the big umbrella over it, and yoga would be a little bit of mindful movement. Anything can be done. If there's an intention to be mindful, any kind of movement can be used as a practice. So, also, like in my classroom, I might start with a little bit of yoga, and then we might do a little bit of focus on the breathing, and there's more things that we could talk about too. Just work on focusing on our breath or opening our 5 senses. Like sometimes you could just work on opening our sense of sight, or opening our sense of hearing, and just stopping and listening to something. Listening to a beautiful piece of music is a great way to start the day. That really helps with the boredom, because kids get bored doing the same thing.
Switch it up.
Yeah, so I switch
we
it
get
up.
bored with the same thing.
We do.
The same way, right?
With a workout.
Even with anything. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm really bored of this. Are you guys feeling bored? The kids are like, yes. I'm like, well, you could have just said.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's switch it up. It's okay
Let's
to
switch
be
it up.
bored.
It's okay.
Right? So I would use that, and there's a lot of resources out there that have some great ideas, and even online. That we could start incorporating those little things, because the kids do get bored. You can't work on
breathing
just
every
breathing
day.
every day.
Yeah.
You have to mix it up, because they do get bored. But after a point, they do actually fall into, if they like, I know with one of my classes, this was 2 years ago actually when I was writing the book, and this is the class that actually helped me pick the pictures and gave me a lot of feedback.
That's so special.
They would actually get to the point where we could sit for 11 minutes a day.
Wow.
11 minutes. And they wanted it. Because they got past the point of just sitting there to make the teacher happy.
Yeah.
They got to the point where
they
actually in it, and they craved it. And they would say, are we going to do mindfulness today? Aren't we going to sit? And we got to 11 minutes by the end of the year. And it took all year to get there.
Yeah.
But by the spring, it was pretty magical.
Oh, no kidding. Just reassuring that kids need it. Like, that you need reassurance, but
Right.
it is nice for
And
that.
I could see a shift.
Oh, yeah.
I would always start with positive reinforcements. Let's see if we can do this for 2 minutes. And if we do, maybe we can, it was all positive.
Yeah.
Mindfulness is never seen as a punishment.
No.
Like,
no.
okay, sit there and breathe now, right?
So it's always, you're going to enjoy this.
Yeah, and you're going to be, get calm, right?
Get calm now. Linda, did you attend the mindfulness session on Friday? Yes, so we have a community of practice in the division that I'm in, and there was, I believe, a mindfulness thing. Were you leading that?
Mm-mm.
You weren't leading it?
No.
Anyways, so there's a whole community of practice
Awesome.
around mindfulness, which is awesome to see, because it's becoming more, people are more aware of it and the importance of it. Yes. So that's cool.
Awesome.
Oh, yes, she's on mat leave with a cute little baby, and the baby's name is Ia, and she's so cute. Yay for baby. Trina came to my school last year, and I used some of your ideas. I'm excited to listen and refresh my memory. I have a lovely class, so this could help them.
Awesome. Which school are you from, Jess?
She's my friend. I can answer that, but I'll let her answer, because I don't know if she wants me to say it on here.
Oh, I guess you don't have to.
She can it's totally up to her if she wants to.
That's why I shouldn't have said that.
No, don't worry at all. How can I get you in my class? That's a good. How can they get?
Okay, so all you would have to do is email me. You can go to presentmomentliving.ca.
I'll put that in there right now. Present, is that what it is?
Presentmomentliving.ca.
So present.
Momentliving.ca.
Oh, if I could type present, I will also put it in my blog post that I do. Present moment living. want to make sure I spelled it right. .ca. And then your email is on there?
And then you can just click contact and it'll come to me.
Perfect.
I'm booking into the winter now, so that might be to take a little bit of time, but
she's quite popular because she's really good. She has come to our school. That's how we first met, and actually did a session for my students and then the teachers as well. I don't know if you do that at every school.
And I did a reading for the book.
Yeah.
For the parents.
For the parents.
Evening.
She came 3 times to our school. Yeah.
Yes, that's okay.
For our family nights. Okay. I'm currently in school becoming a teacher, but I'm depressed because I have a list. How do I put that past me so I can teach happily and feel confident in myself?
I think with that question, that you really have to notice your inner critic, because we all have an inner critic and we can all find faults and difficulties of our own issues that will get us into trouble, and what that thought is doing is that thought is causing your body to feel a certain way. And that's where the depression is coming in. So our thoughts always cause a body reaction. So if we have about 60,000 thoughts a day, and for every one of those 60,000 thoughts, our body is reacting, whether it's on the smallest cellular level. So if we're thinking a stressful thought or a judgmental thought about ourselves and calling us down, just having awareness around that thought will really, really help it to lose power. And then as soon as you have an awareness of, oh, there's that judgmental inner critic again, as soon as you do that, the thought kind of breaks away from it and it loses power over you. So what I would do, as soon as I notice myself thinking a judgmental thought, because I still do, time to time,
oh, yeah.
I still do. And when that happens, then I'll just say, oh, there's that inner critic again. And then I'll bring myself, by using one of the tools for mindfulness, I'll use like my breath, or I'll switch the frequency of the thought, because it's that thought that's causing your body to feel that way. That's where the depression is coming in. So you have to do a little thought watching and figure out where you're putting your thoughts, and is that a helpful thought, and is it true? And if you start asking yourself those questions and do that little thought watching, then you can kind of switch the thought around to something positive. And, for everything that's wrong with us, there's 1,000 things that's right with us. So it's to begin to look at those thoughts and just to be aware of them instead of getting caught up in them. When you get caught up in them, that's when they have the power over you.
So don't let them have the power. Lively, not always lovely. Oh,
that's from before.
That made me laugh. Lively. I'm sure they're lovely as well at times. What's it called? I think maybe the book. It's called Good Morning Sunshine. So here it is. I will be doing, this, if you have friends or you want to share this video with somebody, I always post them. I download it and then I upload it to YouTube, and then it's also on my blog, teachmestyle.com. So I will have her book and her contact information there, and maybe we'll do a little write-up, some tips and all that kind of stuff in the blog post. So if you didn't catch how you can contact her to get her into your school, to talk to your kids, or even all that kind of stuff, that information will be in the blog post. Hey, Trina, good for you, babe. You're the best.
Hey, Carla.
Good job. You're the best. Where can you buy this book?
Okay, so this book is in chapters. It's carried in most chapter stores, but there are some stores that, of course, that don't carry it, but they can get it for you. It's also available on Amazon, or if you're in Regina, you can also get it at your Nicholsworth Publishing, or from me. So you just have to contact me too. But Chapters has a ton right now, so they've been great supporters of this book and have sold a ton.
Yes, so the next question is, I apologize if you said this, but do you use the mindfulness curriculum? No, that hasn't been asked yet. So
I actually wrote my own curriculum to use, because when I've tried a bunch of mindfulness curriculums out there and it just didn't fit. And because I do this, I mean, there's some great curriculums out there, don't get me wrong. But I mostly just use the book. I use I take the concepts from the book and then I just use it from there, and then I wrote my own. I actually wrote my own according to the Saskatchewan Health Curriculum outcomes. And so that's what I did. And part of my idea was to get that out in the world too, but I've just been so busy with this that I actually haven't been out there. But there's some great curriculums out there for mindfulness now.
So, sorry, let us know in the comments if you have never read this book. So that will maybe we can do a teacher talk, a book walk, maybe, to kind of let people know what the story is about. But if most people have read it, maybe we won't, but let us know just if you have no idea, if you've never read the story, and then Trina can maybe if you have, if everybody kind of has, just to kind of go through it, so that we can maybe talk about some of the strategies that are in the book.
Sure.
Does that work?
Yeah, sure. That's great. And I wanted to mention too that...
my twin nephews are in your class and they love you. That's so sweet.
And I love them. They're so sweet.
I would have loved this tool when my son was suffering. Leanne is... she tunes into my lives all the time, and her son, I believe, is like grown up now. So, but hopefully he's handling his anxiety, if that's what it was that he was struggling with. There were almost 70 at the community of practice for mindfulness. That is so
nice.
good.
That's awesome.
So we're just getting caught up here. Thank you. I teach at Poston. Tori this is the girl I was telling you about from California. My friend that's... Cool. Hey, Tori. I'm happy that you're here. How many minutes per day do you recommend mindfulness, specifically second grade? That's what you teach.
That's perfect, because that's my grade. Right now, I have it broken up into 3 different pieces throughout the day. So I would start off with doing some mindfulness of our body in the morning, and then I love starting my day like that. And then in about 11 o'clock, after our first recess, about 10:45, 11 o'clock, I would do a little bit more focused lesson with them. And then in the afternoon, we would specifically work on our breath, if we need it.
Oh, so not every day.
So not every day, if we need it. Some classes that I've had needed it more than others. And it depends on the day.
Yeah.
And what's going on. And whether
what the
it's
weather's
indoor
like.
Indoor
have they gone outside? I'm like,
was it indoor recess?
Tori doesn't know. Well, maybe they do that for the rain, but when it's really cold, because Tori's from California, it gets like minus 40. Well, what is it that they can't go out? Minus 25. Past anything minus 25? That's how it is for us.
27 for us.
Anyways, 25, 27, cold. They can't go out, so they're trapped inside all day, and it causes... Well, they need mindfulness more than ever when that happens.
Right.
So.
And mindfulness isn't really about... Like, we don't do mindfulness in order for the kids to get calm. The kids getting calm is more a byproduct of what mindfulness brings. Why we do mindfulness and why I teach it is to help kids pay attention. Mindfulness is about training your brain to pay attention. When I was growing up, I heard from teachers, and my mom taught me, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. And we tell kids that all the time.
Yeah. I was like, are
pay
you
attention,
listening?
pay attention, listen, look at me, listen, and so we're trying to constantly get them to pay attention, but we've never actually shown kids how to pay attention. So...
True.
We've never, if we go to the gym and you're like, get this muscle bigger, and we're not doing anything to build the muscle, that's exactly what's happening. And even though we don't have a muscle in our brain, we have a neurological pathway in our brain for paying attention. So if we're not giving them time or tools to pay attention, we're asking them to do something, but not giving the practice.
Yes.
So and then the calmness is a byproduct of it. Where I trained, they are like, well, you're not doing this to get calm. You're doing this to focus, and you're doing this to focus on your thoughts.
Which will then make you feel calm, and you will.
Right, because you're going to switch. You're going to switch the thought, so you're not going to be stuck in the past or future thoughts, the what ifs, or the worries, or the regrets, and the should haves. Then you're going to be in the present moment, focus there. Your focus muscle is going to get stronger. Therefore, your body's going to feel calmer, because you're going to take yourself to the present moment where nothing's wrong, and then your body will react. So it's a beautiful side effect. Calm, right? But a lot of people think, even me,
I'm like, okay, kids, time to calm down. Take some deep breaths. And I'm like, okay, let's go on to the next thing. Like, I'm not a calm human. Like, I'm not. So I'm learning a lot.
And there are times when people, maybe if I'm not feeling calm in the moment, and people look at me and like, you're not calm? Like, I thought you're always calm. My husband said, I thought you're always calm. My children say, aren't you always calm? And it's calm. Like, no, but I'm actually feeling a lot, if something happens and I'm like, well, actually I'm really feeling angry about that right now. And I'm going to take care and I'm going to really feel that.
Yeah.
So
I remember you. So like I said before, Trina had come to my school and she did a little session with the teachers. And one of the things that I really remember you saying, and I tried so hard, you were like, when you're feeling something, feel it. Like when you are cold, feel the cold.
Right.
So like when I'm filling up my gas tank, I'm like, I am freezing. I'm really feeling it. Like I am cold. I'm in the moment and I'm freezing, or like when I'm hot, like for some reason temperature was like the first thing that's easy for me to like, that was like something concrete that I'm like, okay, I'm cold. I feel freaking freezing right now. Like I'm cold, So I just remember you and that kind of, or like when you're feeling sad, like really feel sad, like allow yourself to feel sad. And
right.
So why is that so? Is that because that's like being in the moment? That's how you feel in the moment?
Right.
Is that why it's so important? It's there.
So I always say, like if you're filling up your gas tank and you're cold,
like
what you resist persists. So if you're cold in that moment and you're filling your gas tank and you're like this, because I don't want to be there, I don't want to be there, I don't want to be there. Why not relax and get curious about the cold? Just relax your shoulders, get curious about the cold. It's happening right now, so you might as well get mindful about it. And just relax your shoulders and ask yourself, and I always ask myself these questions, what does the cold feel like? And then stop resisting it and let it just kind of permeate your body and feel it. And then it doesn't feel so bad. The suffering isn't there because you're not
pushing it
away. And that's the same with our feelings, right? If you're sad, what does sad feel like? My sister sent me a text the other day. Someone we care about passed away. And she sent me a text and said, so-and-so passed away. And I looked at it and I felt a lot of sadness. And I asked myself, like, where is that feeling? And it was like, okay, I noticed it in my heart. And what does sadness feel like? And it felt, or what did grief feel like? And it felt kind of a heaviness in my heart. And I grabbed my phone and I texted back to her because I knew she'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I said, what does grief feel like? What does sadness feel like? Feel it.
Yeah,
right?
Allow yourself. And I think that's a big thing, like adults do it. Like we just push things away, we don't allow, and then I think it just comes off onto our kids, like just not really allowing them to feel. I'm the same way. Sometimes I'm like, they come in from recess and so somebody has said something that hurt their feelings. I'm like, okay, well, did you tell them? Mine was like, did you tell them it hurt you? Yeah, okay, well then, it's just, but like how, like feel the sadness, like where does it feel sad? Why, like those kinds of things.
Right.
But, which you would probably know, it's like sometimes there's like 10 kids at your desk and you're like, okay, are y'all feeling the sadness? Because,
I know.
But
I know. It's little moments, right? It's just little moments.
Okay, feel it. Now go sit down. No, just
hurry up and feel that feeling.
Hurry up, find it, and sit down. No.
Right. I hear you. So when I was growing up, and like I was a nervous child, right?
Yeah.
And so my family, and my coaches just put,
You're fine. You're fine.
You're fine. And I mean, that's one of the worst things you could tell a child. And I mean, we didn't know that, right? They didn't know that. I didn't know that when I first started teaching. I used to say to kids all the time, you're fine. You're fine. You're going to be fine. Don't worry. Don't be afraid. Don't be angry.
Forget about it. Go sit down.
Right. All of that, right? So don't worry about it. You're fine. They're not fine. And in that moment, that feeling is there, and we should take care of it instead of pushing it away. So what I do now is I have, when I have a child come in and they're feeling nervous, and I'll always empathy, right?
Yes.
Empathize with them. That's what they want to hear. They want to feel that you understand. And so when you look at them and say, oh, I said, are you feeling a little nervous right now? Mm-hmm. And where is that feeling in your body? Like usually it's in my stomach.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, feel it. What does that feel like in your body? Like, and then they look at you. The look on their face is, what? You understand? Like, this is okay? I'm not supposed to push it away. And so I love that. Just the look in their eyes.
The first time that you say it to them,
I remember the first time I said that with my sons, and they were small. And I remember saying, it looks like you're feeling angry. Is it okay to feel angry? And I said, it is okay to feel angry. Where is that? What does it feel like? Let's get mindful of that feeling. Let's get curious. It's all about opening up your curiosity, because whatever is in front of you right now, let's get curious about it. So that was fun.
I
ask myself those questions all the time. What does anger feel like? What does frustration feel like? What does nervousness feel like? What does overwhelm feel like? Report card time. Right? So.
It feels like I don't know what it feels like because I can't. Yeah. Love this. Do you come to childcare centers ever for a staff session? This would be an amazing resource. Yes. So that will be in the blog post, which I will, if you follow me here, I will put it when it's up there on I'll let you guys know. You guys know I'm always on here.
I will speak to anybody who will listen.
That have pop-up pics or no? Somebody's wondering. No pop-up pics, Kip.
No pop-up pics.
But it is a pretty awesome book. Oh, definitely adding this book to my collection. Yes, I've never read it. I have read it. So do you want to maybe do a little book walk?
Cool. Okay, well the book
ish.
The book.
Whatever you.
The book is based on a true story. So it's based on my son's struggle with all of those yucky things that happen in our body when we're getting caught up in a past or future stressful thought. And it highlights all those things. So, there are a lot of mindfulness books out there now, like, some of them are written in prose and some of them are, you do this, you do this, you do this. But what I'm finding, what a lot of parents are saying, my child really relates to how Zachary feels. And one parent said to me, when I saw her once, actually it was when I was at Chapters doing a signing last November, and she came up to me and she said, my son read this book and went, oh, I'm Zachary. Zachary feels the same way I felt. That's what happens to me. And the mom said, wow, I never knew that that's how he felt.
Yeah, because it's hard for them to tell you unless you've been through it. Like you had gone through it. Your child, like you guys worked on this together. So it's hard for them to voice exactly how they're feeling. Right. Especially when we're saying, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. So they never have a chance. They never have a chance to really tell you or to really feel what they're feeling,
Yeah, so that was exciting when she said that and now since then I've had quite a few more emails coming saying my child relates to this little boy in the story. And so he talks about some of the things that are happening with his rapid heart rate and his flippity flopping in his tummy and the scrunching of the eyebrows and his frown, his mouth going into a frown, and all those things that are happening to him. The body symptoms that start first, and that's what the child notices. And then it goes into the mother coming in and noticing this, and then they decide they're going to practice doing a little mindfulness. And so what happens is the mom, who the illustrator made look like me,
which is the best.
I said,
don't.
It's okay. Just make it look like just make it a mom, And he said, Trina, send me a picture. And I'm like, no. This was James Hearn out of Calgary. He's awesome. And he said, Trina, send me a picture of you. So I had to send him a picture of myself and Zachary. So he said, I'm making you the mom. You have no say. He said.
No choice.
You have no choice. Which was just a thrill to work with him. But
so show them a picture of you.
Okay, so
there you are.
Here's a picture of me, and I have to tell you, at one point he had my hair flowing down, looking like a Barbie. And I'm like, James, give me a haircut. Give me a haircut. So anyway, he did. Then the mother comes in. Of course, she knows how he feels because she has felt this way when she was a little girl. True story.
True story.
Yeah, true story. And then she talks about what mindfulness is. And in the book, Zachary knows what mindfulness is, but she repeats it again to remind him of what it is, and asks him a question: when you're brushing your teeth before bed, are you thinking about brushing your teeth? So trying to find out whether he's in the present moment. And he realizes, no, I don't spend very much time in the present moment at all, because he realizes he's always thinking something else, what he's going to do later, what happened today at school. And so he's not present very much. And then so they talk about the thoughts a little bit, the past and the future thoughts, as being things that are causing his body to feel that way. And then he takes out his little box of mindfulness tools, which I even have in my classroom. I have a little sparkly little box. I think I have it on my Instagram post, a sparkly little box with all the tools in it that the kids can go and use. And so these are the same tools that Zachary uses throughout the book. He uses his mindfulness tools. He uses opening his 5 senses to be present for what he's doing right now. He uses belly breaths to calm himself. Because when I learned mindfulness for the first time, one of the most important things they taught me, one of the first things they taught me was to change my breathing. So when we get stressed, our breathing moves up here into our chest, the shallow, short chest breaths. Now kids do this and they magnify it, especially on the playground. Like, oh, I got hurt on the playground. And, they're talking like that. And we do that too. Like we do that as adults. Yeah. Like when we get stressed, we start breathing up here in our short little shallow breaths. And instead we learn how to put the air into our abdomen, almost as if we're filling a balloon into our abdomen. And when we breathe that way, the stress responses in the body just start to melt. Because it's a slow, deeper breath. And of course we don't have lungs down here, but it's the diaphragm moving down. And we get a deeper, slower breath. And it just calms all of our stress responses in our body. And that's why it's nicknamed belly breaths. That's why it's, and just think when I was growing up, kids used to say, or adults used to say to me, just take a breath, just breathe. When someone gets hurt, just breathe. Why does that work so good? Well, the breath is also used as an anchor to get into the present moment. So Zachary also goes through learns how to do his belly breaths and practices his belly breaths. Then the next one is to shake his mindfulness jar. And so we talk about what a mindful jar is. Should I bring my mindful jar out?
Bring it in.
I brought, bringing my big jar over now. This is a jar that I use as a visual, and I love using this jar as a visual. I have some cheap little Walmart sparkles in there and just water. Try not to use any of those mindfulness jar recipes. You don't need glycerin in it. You don't need glue. It works very well just with plain Walmart sparkles and some water. And then so these sparkles are a representation of our past and future thoughts. And when we are caught in stressful thoughts or difficult emotions, our minds and our bodies feel like that.
Crazy.
Now it looks pretty, but it doesn't feel good. And this is when all of the stress responses are coming into our body. And it's hard to take in information. It's hard to give out information. When our students walk into the classroom and they're feeling this way, how are they even asked
sit down,
to learn something?
Learn. We're going to read this book now.
Right. Here, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of information, and you got to remember all of it, because here's a new math concept, or here's, before we do our testing for Fontes and Pinnell, and we're about to read the book, and the child is nervous because what if I don't do well? And so watch what just happens if we just stop and let those thoughts settle.
So mesmerizing.
And it's okay to have silence, right? And soon all of those stressful thoughts settle, and our minds and bodies can settle, can feel better. And now we can take in information. We can see clearly. Our bodies relax. We can make wise choices. And this is what the present moment feels like. And so sometimes after recess, when we come in and we're all crazy, I will say, all right, everybody, we need to settle our sparkles before we can learn anything. And so we take a couple moments to...
So that would be when you would practice, maybe the second. So you said after, the 10:30
after recess. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And sometimes I'll just shake the jar and we'll just stop and watch it. And so that's all it takes. It only takes a couple minutes. And you can feel it and they can feel it. And then the whole room feels different.
It is, when they do feel, it's crazy. You can just see them vibrating sometimes. Yeah.
And so then Zachary does exactly what we just did there. He has a little mindfulness jar by his bedside, and he just shakes it. The next one is exactly what we talked about with the feelings. And I love this page. There's a lot of text on here, but I really couldn't take any of this out.
No.
Because what it does is it really goes through how we're going to take care of our feelings instead of pushing it away. And so they learn a little bit about that the feelings are visiting, and we're almost like we're like a guest house, and we're going to take care of it like a guest. I mean, it's like that. It's like our bodies are like a guest house. And I mean, if you go and visit a guest house, you would want to be treated well, and then you have to leave, right? You have to leave eventually. Unfortunately, we have to leave those holidays. But that's what I kind of made it into, that our body's a guest house, and the feelings come, and then we take care of them, and then the feelings go. And then our body starts to relax, and our muscles, that used to be, like I say, tight, straight like spaghetti that's still in the box, then our muscles begin to relax like cooked spaghetti. And so kids love that. The kids always laugh when I'm doing an author reading, and they always laugh at that part because they love that, how their muscles go from uncooked spaghetti to cooked spaghetti. Feels good. And then we brought in some gratitude, because gratitude is one of the most powerful practices for relaxing our body and getting into that zone of the present moment. Gratitude is huge. It's a very, very powerful technique, and building this into our day. So we talked about how Zachary's family practiced gratitude a lot, and it was his favorite mindfulness tool, because you can't be nervous and grateful at the same time. You can't be angry and grateful at the same time. You can't be sad and grateful at the same time. The gratitude will switch the frequency of the thought and put you in the present moment. Gratitude grounds us in the present moment. That's why some people always ask me, especially high schools. They're always looking for a way to challenge me, and I love working with high school kids. So they'll say, all right, Mrs. Markuson, what about if you're thinking a past thought about going for, something fun, and you really liked it? That's a past thought. And I said, well, okay, so let's say we're thinking a past thought about going for ice cream with our family this weekend, and it was so great. And I said, if you're thinking that thought, first of all, do you think that would bring stress to your body? No. And secondly, that thought of a wonderful time going for ice cream with your family is going to ground you in the present moment, because you're grounded in gratitude.
Ah, good one.
Yeah. So you're going to feel gratitude when you're thinking a thought like that, and gratitude is grounded in the present moment. The past thought, even though it's a past thought, the gratitude will trump that and put us back in the present moment.
Trumps all.
Yeah, gratitude will trump all. So then Zachary thinks about some of the things he's grateful for: his 2 big brothers, his school, and the blue sky day. And that's true. He loves blue sky days. Same with his mama. So the last one, we talk about some kind and caring thoughts. And this one talks about the thoughts that we have as being either, not so much as the past and future thoughts, but this one talks about our thoughts as either making us feel happy and strong, or our thoughts making us feel weak, and the negative thought, weak and sad. And so that's huge. If we're looking at whether a thought is making us happy and strong or weak and sad, we can always replace that negative thought with a kind and caring thought. So we send kind and caring thoughts to ourselves, like just thinking kind and caring thoughts like, I am safe. Zachary said in the book, I am safe. I have a family that cares about me. I have love in my heart. All is well. And those are ones that he actually used when he was younger. He doesn't really need them anymore, but I think they automatically come into his head when he's thinking a stressful thought now that he's older. And also about sending kind and caring thoughts to other people. Now, I've had some parents say, well, you can't do that. You can't send thoughts to, thoughts to other people. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, no. It's not really about that. It's about, if I'm thinking about somebody who's ill, okay, let's say, my grandmother is ill, or when my grandmother was ill, I would, instead of me worrying about her, which, what is worry going to do? It's not going to do anything for her. It's only going to cause me to feel stress in my body.
Yeah.
What I do instead is I'll say, well, why don't I send her some kind and caring thoughts? So what I'm actually doing is I'm replacing my negative thought
with.
So I would say things like, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be filled with love. And so when I do that, I'm actually switching the frequency of the thought for myself and making more calmness. Because doesn't that feel better than sitting and worrying about somebody? What if something happens to them? May you be happy. It makes your whole body relax. And one funny story, my son Zachary and I were driving up to there was an accident actually, not far from our house several years ago. We were sitting in there and we were right in front of it. So the ambulance was there and my son was sitting in the back seat and he looked over and he was like, "Oh no, Mom." And he's a very, he's a very sensitive, he was very sensitive. And so he would look over and say, "Oh no." And he could see the person who was hurt and he was very distraught. And then I said to him, "Well, why don't we send them some kind and caring thoughts? I can't go out there and help, right? Yeah, I don't have the skills. There's doctors and paramedics there. They're doing what they can do for her." And we could see her sitting on the ground. And I said, "Why don't we send her some kind and caring thoughts?" So we just started saying, "May you be healthy and well. May you be happy. May you be filled with love." And I could just see his whole body relax. So it wasn't about so much, in a way, we wanted to help her.
Yeah.
But most of all, it was changing his thought. And so that's what I love so much about this page, because why not send love out into the world instead of worry and harm?
Things that really
to our own.
Yeah, can't do anything.
So that's what that page is all about. And then it shows how Zachary, his symptoms seem to have disappeared one page at a time, because on each page after a symptom disappears, I've included everything was all right in this moment. And so that repeats itself throughout the book as as he practices, the symptoms start to disappear and everything is all right in this moment, because everything is all right in this moment. Mm-hmm. And then
something so simple but so hard.
Mm-hmm.
So hard.
Yeah. And then it also talks about in this book how the important thing is to practice using these tools every day, and moms and dads will feel happier if they practice these tools too.
And teachers.
And teachers. And the thing is, our job as teachers is to model these. Our job as parents are to model these tools. Because if we can stand in front of a classroom and we can say, "Everybody be quiet." Well, you know what? They're getting the feeling. Kids learn more from how we are than what we say.
Yes.
And so they're getting the agitation. They're not getting the words, right? They're connecting into the agitation. So that's what they're getting, the message, the agitation. And so sometimes my class is crazy. Sometimes, or if the noise level gets up high, all I'll do is I'll go in front of them and I'll just put my hands on my belly. And I'll close my eyes and I'll just start doing belly breaths. And it's amazing. I don't say a word. And they'll say, "She's doing belly breaths. She's doing belly breaths. She's doing belly breaths. She's doing belly breaths." And all of a sudden, all of them are doing belly breaths. And it's like, I noticed my agitation first. What am I going to do with it? So I'm modeling these tools constantly. I'm modeling gratitude constantly. I'm modeling sending kind and caring thoughts. If someone got hurt and they come in after recess and I'm like, "Aw, you hurt your finger? Oh, it's bleeding. Let's put a Band-Aid on it. Can I send you some kind and caring thoughts?" And they're like, "Sure." And I'm like, "Okay, you go to your desk and I'm going to send you some kind and caring thoughts." Or sometimes I'll just put my hand over it, or, I'll just hold it by my heart and say, "Can I send you some kind and caring thoughts?" Right? And then they feel so much better. So it's our job as parents. What can we do first? Or in teachers, we need to work on ourselves first. We need to adopt these tools. We need to work on our own resilience. And they just learn from how we are.
Yeah. For sure. That is. So there was 6 that you went through.
I went through 6, and then I've also included, and this was important. I can't
forget that.
This was in the book. I've included cards that are perforated, and so you can tear them out, and they are exactly the same cards that Zachary has in the book and the cards that he used. So his little 5 senses card matches your little 5 senses card. Okay. And I've had parents and teachers say, okay, we've ripped these out. And this is what I did in my own classroom. I've ripped them out. I've got a really fancy little box and I have it at the back. So whenever they are experiencing a difficult emotion or a stressful thought, they can go back there. I always said, try not to do it while I'm teaching.
Yeah.
While I'm standing there. Try not to when I'm giving, a lesson. But if you really need it, sometimes I'll just go over there and I'll just say,
you should go.
You are definitely welcome. And they want to go over there. And so they'll pick one of the cards and then they could practice what it says on one of the cards. And when they practice these tools, they're automatically grounded in the present moment. And so it helps. You have the belly breaths and the shaking the mindful jar. And what I love about these are the parents that have contacted me and said,
I'm going to use these. Like, I need these cards. Good news is my book.
I had a parent who said, I have these cards sitting in a basket on our kitchen counter. I use them a lot.
Honestly,
I'm like, what a great idea.
I'm going to use these.
So it really works. And so whenever we're feeling a stressful thought or a difficult emotion, you can go and use the cards. And then, just practicing what it says for a couple of minutes, the thought that's causing the stress will lose its power because you will be grounded in the present moment at that moment.
Yeah, so powerful. So powerful, but the tools are so simple. Like, like they're not hard things to do. So,
no. And I've also put a page in here, a note for caregivers and teachers and parents. And and then the kind of a bit of a chart to show how we have the present moment in the middle, and then we can be taken away from the present moment with our past thoughts, where we replay events and should-haves and regrets, and then our future thoughts on this side.
That's me.
I was a future thought.
Were you?
Past?
I'm past always, yeah. Like, why did I say that? Oh, that was so stupid. Why did I do that? Like things like that. I'm like, I should have did this.
Yeah. I was caught in future thoughts, worries or what ifs. That was my big thing. Worries or what ifs. And it's just, everybody's a little bit different.
Everybody has their thing.
So
let's check in here with everybody. Okay. Love to know more about it. I've never read it. Okay, here we go. Hi, loved it so much. Thank you both. Sorry, we're behind here.
There was one about a grade 5 classroom.
Oh, that was Linda.
Okay.
Wasn't it? Or no? Did I get it? About a grade 5 classroom. Sorry, guys.
It's a little lower down. And then there was also a question about grades 6 and 7.
Oh, okay. Do you want to answer those while I kind of go through these ones?
So if you're going to use this book in middle years, the book is pretty much K to 5, right? But I have cousins who use these same tools and they read the book and they like Zachary and they're little 3-year-olds, but they use the cards. So they might, before bed, think of 3 things they're grateful for. So they just start incorporating it into their daily life. Or before they go to bed at night, they can practice their belly breathing. So that could be done with the younger kids. But then for the older kids, it's all the same. I do this stuff with grade 12s. I do this stuff with adults. And so it's how you could take the same tools and just kind of put it to their age level. Like I was in a psychology class with grade 11s 2 weeks ago. Loved it. Brought in these same things. I even brought my jar to show them, and they're like, yeah, I can totally relate. Like, this is my visual, right? And so you can absolutely, I've worked with those age levels, and you can
use them.
Definitely. Instead of belly breaths, like, I never really I did sort of tell them that I used the term belly breath with younger kids, but just calling it abdominal breathing. And let's get the air down here. And what I find, I love when I'm working with middle years and high school kids, when you reach that grade 6, 7, up to 12, when I'm speaking in front of them and I'm teaching them about this, they almost go like this. Like the whole class leans forward. Like, what? Why didn't we know about this earlier?
10 years ago. Where were you 10 years ago?
Why didn't I know about this, right? And they're looking for ways to reduce stress in their life. They're looking for ways to handle those difficult emotions. And I mean, just think if a whole generation started using these tools from like kindergarten to all the way up, what would our mental health?
Yes.
I mean, we wouldn't be having mental health awareness days. We'd be having wellness days.
Well said. On a daily, yes.
Yeah.
That is.
I would like to change Mental health day to wellness.
Wellness. So we only have 5 minutes left because it only goes for an hour. I know. So if we don't answer your question, they will not go away. They'll be on here, and then we will write about it. It'll be in the blog post.
Here's the Vancouver one.
I am from Vancouver, and I wanted to purchase this book for my middle school grade 7, 6, 7 class. Is there any They're
not available at Chapters.
I'm definitely ordering this. My classroom needs mindfulness. So
yes.
Amazon.
You can go through Amazon, or you can go through Chapters online, at Chapters Indigo online. The store can get it for you, but I would go into that store and tell them what a great book this is, because
you should do that.
I go into the Regina store on a regular basis, and when they display the book, it sells like crazy.
Yeah, and why isn't it always on display? Every time I'm there, I'll just
rules.
Okay, sorry. We just displaying this one like Carrie Bradshaw does on Sex and the City, you know? She does that a few times.
And yeah, any chapters, like if you go into the chapters and ask them, like, tell them, I need your help too. I wrote the book, but I feel like I'm part of this big team, and I know the potential of this book to help tons of families and kids and teachers have a great tool. And I feel like I'm part of the team because now
we're all doing it.
Come on to the team, and I can't do this alone. So any help would be great. So Chapters, Amazon are the places to buy it.
And then your website, which will
out of Saskatchewan. Anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, okay, oh my goodness, this time is going so fast. I've used this in my daily struggle with anxiety, and I love it. That's so good to hear. I actually aspire to be positive and to have the same mindset as Trina. I want to be like this when I'm a teacher as best I can. This is amazing.
And you know what?
That's so nice.
That's
I aspire
awesome.
to be you, too.
And you know what? It's a small practice. I've been doing this for 16 years, but I still practice. So
it's little, like anything, tiny, you have to practice.
Right, and never get judgmental on yourself. Like if I find myself, there's a past thought, and then I'm like, it's like a puppy leading a puppy on a leash. If the puppy goes off, you just gently bring it back. And if it goes this way, you bring it back. So, it's kindness to yourself. It's a little practice at a time. You're building that a little awareness, moment by moment by moment, with kindness. We have to treat our self-kindness first, so it's that self-care first. And when we do that, our children, our students will learn from us.
Absolutely. Would you consider doing a French translation of the book?
I looked into that. I actually did, because I had people from Edmonton, French schools in Edmonton, getting in touch with me. This book, in order to get it into a French translation, it's a big deal. And I thought it was just switch the words to French. It's not. And actually, I would have to print 2,000 copies. And
goodness.
At this moment, I've kind of left it because it's a really, really big cost. And it's not as simply as just changing the words. It's reformatting the book. It's buying rights to some kind of French rights to the book. And
that's crazy.
It's difficult. It's really difficult. So I'm going to leave it for now.
Jessica, I'm going to answer this one. What tools do you keep in your mindfulness box? These tools, which are in the back of the book. And Jess, I'm pretty sure you have this book, right? These are the tools that you keep in there? Mm-hmm. Perfect. I'm totally loving this discussion. Thank you for sharing this too with us. You're welcome. What kind of tools are in toolbox? Okay, those are in there. I often tend to relive and overthink past moments over and over again. So I appreciate this conversation so much. Beautifully taught and beautifully spoken. Christy, you're the sweetest. Oh my gosh, love, amazing ideas. Will it work on adults too? Yes.
Yes, these are exactly the same tools that I use.
We only have 2 minutes left. That was Brandon's mom, so I can talk to her about that. This is amazing. Thank you for that quiet moment.
Wasn't that quiet moment great?
So good, except for Aya, of course, had to ruin it. I was like,
no, you didn't ruin it. But
past thought. That was a past thought right there. I'm like, I was talking too much.
No judgment.
Talking too much.
I thought it was perfect, too. And you know what? As soon as we got quiet with the jar, the hearts started coming up. Did you notice that?
No. Look at all the hearts we're getting now, too.
I noticed that a lot.
So many hearts. Love this mindfulness jar. This is such a great idea, a way to help kids understanding, just being present in the moment. I am definitely going to use this idea. What is the title of this book about Zachary? Good Morning Sunshine. So that is what it is called. Thank you, Jess. I came for parenting tips, but I'm actually helping myself. Perfect. That's awesome. How we're going to help.
Starts with us.
It starts with us. 50 seconds. I love this idea, modeling and belly breath to get their attention instead of yelling and competing with the students. Absolutely. Because we are all guilty of it. All of us. Like we all are. Okay, well, we only have 45 seconds left. If we didn't answer your question, it's going to be in the blog post. Trina, what do you want to say last?
Well, I want to say, too, if you do want to follow
Yes.
more information, I'm on Instagram as Present Moment Living.
I'll put it in after.
Or Trina Markuson. I do have a website, presentmomentliving.ca, and also a Facebook page, which is Present Moment Living. So I have sometimes, like, I'm putting more tips and things on there for people, and and anybody you could tell the book to. This is going to make a great Christmas gift. If you want to shop, you have enough time. If it's not in the stores that you're in, you can order it for a Christmas gift, because this is not only going to help the child, it's going to help the parents in the house too. And
bye, guys.